so I have it for them.
Is there's going to be a start, or just hold it?
To Facebook Live.
Oh, it's live right now.
Just record on your phone and send it to me later.
Okay.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause for Larry. So, real quick, Larry, if just give some of the famous people that you did not know at all, but you wanted to meet for whatever reason, business-wise or what have you, who you were able to meet and connect with. Just rattle off some of the highlights.
Jack Canfield and Steve Harrison.
Jack Canfield, Steve Harrison, Patty Aubrey start at the top.
That's right.
No, I mean, like you said, we've been blessed. We've had Tony Robbins, to Paula Abdul, to Peter Guber, the owner of the Golden State Warriors and Dodgers, and Tony Shea of Zappos, and just others. John Paul DeJorio, and Richard Branson. Richard Branson gave me his private email about 30 seconds of meeting him. He was flanked by 2 Secret Service people on a dance floor. It's not the best time to have a conversation. I did a lot of research on President Clinton. I met President Clinton. I invited him to We Are the World. As a result, Ken Craig and I, we had a mutual friendship, and he also gave me his contact because I invited him to something that he cared about, which was music at the the live recording with We Are the World. So that was I was raising money to help put on that event, and I asked President Clinton if he would like to come and attend.
So what advice would you give people like Dr. Rob there, who they've got maybe a list of people that are influencers? I'd love to meet him. I'd love for her. I'd love to connect, see if maybe we might be able to do some kind of win-win thing. Or what tips would you give people?
So I wrote a couple things down. I would write the number one thing is be a VC, not a venture capitalist, but be a value creator. So let me ask you guys, how many of you here that got some value from something I shared with you, either privately or through the group? So the whole idea is just everywhere you go, just try to be value add. Always give first, always add value, try to be a servant leader, always try to make a difference. When you're dealing, who was the last, where was, oh, so if I outsource my workouts on the abs to you, I'm happy to make all those for you.
Yeah, seriously. I totally will too.
All kidding aside, less is more. Think about the people you reeled off are crazy busy and influential. There's no doubt in my mind you would have massive value to their podcast, but they're also getting hit up by everyone and their mother. So how can you do less is more? Is there something that you can offer? Is it an article? Is it just what Jack said? Hey, if you ever have a guest that cancels last minute, I'm there for you. What event could you guys go to where a lot of these people are present? So for example, years ago I went to something called the Summit Series, a cruise ship. I met Peter Diamandis, Gary Vaynerchuk. So Peter, I said, hey, if you come speak at my event, I couldn't afford $75,000, but he came and he met Joe Polish. He met Vision Lacchiani from Mind Valley. He met Brendan Burchard, all through speaking at SANG. The reason we got Tony Robbins, Tony paid his way to come because there was so much value in the room of all these amazing people. When you came, you took like 107 pages of notes because there were some pretty smart people in the room. So anything you guys could do to create more value for the network, connect the network. As a matter of fact, today, you mentioned a few people. I texted Ken Blanchard, because I haven't talked to Ken in a long time. Ken's a legend. I want to go meet with Ken before it gets much longer, right?
No.
And I reached out to Bob Berg, because you mentioned his book several times. I let Vision know that you said some nice things about him. Ken responded back within 5 minutes. Vision responded back within 5 minutes. So you got to stay top of mind. And I don't, very rarely will I ever ask of anything of anyone. Here's another example. Would you think it's normally difficult to connect with billionaires? I mean, just in general, that's normally a difficult. So Jesse, how many of you guys have heard of Spanx? Okay. So they're billionaires, she's the youngest female self-made on the Forbes 400. I actually know her husband way better than I know Sarah, but I really admire Jesse Itzler. If you guys are not following Jesse Itzler, you guys should all follow him. He's one of the most fascinating human beings on the planet. Totally socially conscious, gives back. But anyway, make a long story short, when I first met him and Sarah were both trying to grow social media followings on Instagram. So I volunteered. If you want to get connected to some people that can help you grow social media, happy to make that intro. And I would comment on their post. A few weeks ago, maybe it was like a month ago, he talked about a squeaky clean colon. She did it on his Instagram. She did it on her Instagram. He went to the colon doctor or whatever, And I literally bought him the domain squeakyclean.com, and I gifted it to him. Okay, it was meant as a joke, but I mean, he was posting about it. The other thing is Ed Milet has got the #1 business podcast right now in terms of growth, viewers, and everything else. Okay, or he's definitely one of the top 3. So I stay in touch. I drop Ed, comments. Now in his case, I have a cell phone, but I comment. I just did a post on Ed and Jesse the other day, and I talked about how amazing their podcast was, how much I learned. And I tweeted on my Twitter, my Instagram. They both responded to me that way.
So there's one thing he does that I find all great networkers do is they make it about the other person.
Right.
So what most people do, just to use Rob, and Rob probably wouldn't do this, but most authors who are like in Rob's situation, hi, I want to know if you would review my book or give me an endorsement or me. But as he said, he didn't even ask for anything, right? But first, what he does is he figures out, how can I help this person? He'll even ask them, hey, what are you working on? I'm just trying to figure out what I could do to help you. That is literally what comes out of his veins, okay? And all great networkers think like that. But the other thing he'll do is he'll think about them as people. So,
take you today. You were talking about your wife was saying your son's looking for a job. I said, where does he live? Charlotte. My brother lives in Charlotte. I was at the NBA All-Star Weekend just a few weeks ago. Someone that you and I all know is Jeffrey Gitomer. He's one of the top sales trainers in the world. Jeffrey has spoken and been at saying, but I haven't seen him in years. Right. So I reached out, like, hey, I'm here in town. Do you want to get together? I tried to get him to come to the Westin Hotel. He wouldn't come. He goes, when you're done, come over to my house. I eventually went over to his house. We reconnected. I shared some ideas that'll be helpful for him. As a matter of fact, I sent him an email on 8 things that you guys did, you and Jack and Patty, that were best practices to him because he wants to do something like this. That was of high value to him. So
now
your
that's
son.
That's the kind of thoughtfulness. That's a real thoughtfulness stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about what he's doing, and you notice some things, and you're giving it to him. And you're right. My son, and you realize he's connected in Charlotte. My son wants a job in Charlotte. Anybody watching this video, I do have a son that's a very good sales rep. If you need to hire somebody,
And I'm going to connect him to Jeffrey because Jeffrey's literally one of the most connected guys in all of Charlotte.
In sales is big.
Sales is his thing. So you know what? We've got to pretty much wrap up. But tell the story about I'll let you choose. But if you want to choose the guy that was golfing with Pete Sampras, it's a cool story. But
so this is pretty interesting.
This is a cool story.
Yeah. So this guy Ed Milet. So this is a true story. So I actually wanted to meet this guy Ed Milet. Now 30 years ago, he worked for my mentor in financial services. I told you earlier today I'd connect somebody that had built those 2 different billion-dollar companies. Anyway, so that was Ed worked under this guy. So I knew we had mutual friends. But when you have 1 million followers on Instagram and social media, it's hard for them to even see the comments, So anyway, I would comment, I would share. Now I literally figured out from one of his public Instagram posts and one of his public YouTube videos, he talked about if he ever got famous and he ever got influential, he would always give his fans the time of day. And something must have happened when he was a little kid. Whoever his favorite actor was on TV, he didn't say who it was, but he said it was a motorcycle show, and it was one of the lead actors. And I was able to figure out who it was.
Of course.
3 years ago, I gave a speech in someone's home, very similar to this, at David Fagan's a little event. The first person to come up to me at the event was a guy named Larry Wilcox. I didn't know who Larry Wilcox was. He goes, I was the lead actor with Eric Estrada in Chips. So I texted Larry and said, listen, this guy is a huge fan of Chips, but apparently whatever Eric Estrada did as a little kid, offended him somehow. Could you just send a little video saying, hey, I appreciate you being a fan of Chips? So he said yes, but he didn't send me the video. So I asked him a second time, but he never sent the video. So I asked 4 times, but I was very pleasantly, I wasn't pushy. So finally, it was towards the end of the year. I figured he's got some slow time. I said, listen, can you just record a 30-second video? This guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He is the vice chairman of a multi-billion-dollar financial services company. They have a ridiculous number of financial service advisors. I don't know where it'll go, but I promise good things will happen. He also happens to have this influential podcast and blog and everything else. I send the video to him, okay? It's a 30-second video of him basically saying, thank you for being a fan of the show. That day, he was playing golf with Wayne Gretzky and Pete Sampras, okay? He's at these, Tom Brady's with his community club and everything. He sends me a text 5 minutes later, dude, you made my year. Think about this. When is the last time Chips was on television? When was the last time Larry Wilcox was on television? What, 30 years ago? But that, to him, that was his idol or something. And so I tap into people's passions. Sometimes, and by the way, here's 2 quick questions you can ask. What do you do for fun when you're not doing blank? What's your favorite charity and cause and why? And by the way, the question is why? And you'll figure out what's important to someone. And it's just, I just think it's a better life philosophy. I could tell people how cool I am or how great I am, but it's just much better to help serve other people, in my opinion.
That's great. Man, round of applause. Thank you.
And by the way, one last thing. I actually wrote a blog post about him just a few minutes ago about the 11 things that I've learned from Jack Canfield on all the qualities that he embodies. Because when I built Sang, when he came to the first event, he's got humility. He's kind. He's a lifelong learner. Everything that, he's, even though he's successful, he's still very nice and kind and all these other things. So I put all that in my little blog post.
That's awesome.
What do you need, man?
There's one last thing though too. Everybody that you meet that says, "What are you up to?" You have to say what you're up to.
Right.
Because you never know. I mean, we had an infomercial deal happen on the soccer field in my kid's 6th grade class. Dad said, "Well, if y'all want to do that infomercial, I'll fund it." Oh my God! I put him on the list. Chip Honk for you, and so you just never know who you're talking to.
Hey, one thing before we go, can you just, my sister's a 3rd grade teacher. They've raised $60,000 for Stand Up for Cancer and the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Just in case you're watching, what's one piece of advice you would give to 3rd graders who are writing their first book? Or a piece of encouragement?
Oh, just write about what you love, write about what you care about, write about what you know, write about what you're interested in. And, that's basically what I think great authors do. So, there have been kids in small schools, younger children, who have written chicken soup type books where they talk about a story of something that made them happy or something where some kid was kind or whatever. And so whatever moves you emotionally, whatever makes you either angry, sad, or scared, or happy, or loving, or joyful, write about that.
All right. Well, what a great way to end our
Thank you, Jack.
Okay, so I'm going to let Jack